One person is in custody connected to the deadly shooting of an Indiana police officer. Southport Police Lieutenant Aaron Allen was gunned down Thursday while trying to help people at the scene of a car crash.
So what could be behind such a senseless killing? Joining us now, Dr. Darrin Porcher, a former NYPD lieutenant and a U.S. Army veteran. Dr. Porcher, good to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
So first off, what happened here?
Well, it was a terrible situation. When you look at the dynamics of an officer that's responding to a motor vehicle accident and he becomes the victim of a shooting, it really raises questions as to what was this individual in possession of, be it a warrant? Did this person think that the cops were looking for him for something else? So it goes back to the vigilance that's employed by an officer on a day-to-day in responding to these cases.
So this officer, who was nicknamed Teddy Bear, was beloved by so many, was going in to try to save people from this car, ends up being shot. There he is right there, shot and killed because potentially maybe the people in the car thought that he was coming after them for something else.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just a reality today, Clayton. I think it happens all too often.
So when you look at these police officers, we hear these stories all too often about police officers being targeted, people going after police officers, sort of sitting ducks, sitting there on patrol outside, with their partners, sitting in a car, sort of just sitting ducks. What can police officers do? What can communities do to try to rally around these police officers to help them?
Well, police and community should have a conjoined relationship. But when I look back to the shooting of Michael Brown back in Ferguson years ago, it exacerbated a narrative of police being the enemy, so to speak. But in essence, police are here to work with us. They're the gatekeepers of society. They're our first line of defense. Therefore, we as individual citizens should have that relationship with police, whereas we should see them as our counterparts and our friends, not as the enemy. And that's something that's been exacerbated by the media.
Well, the media, talking about exacerbating things yesterday, the media got upset when President Trump yesterday, speaking to those police officers, said, look, you got these killers, and I see you put your hand on the back of their head when you're putting them in MS-13, you're putting them in the car. Maybe you take your hand away and let them, we don't need to baby these guys. We need to be tough. And that's what he was talking about. The media sort of jumped all over it, saying that the president was encouraging violence from police officers. What did you make of that?
Well, I think the president stands side by side with law enforcement, and that's where that statement came from. We have a very different administration in play, and I think the president is trying to amplify the necessity of citizens standing next to law enforcement. He used the term, we want to be tough on these guys. We do need to be tough on people like MS-13. These are people that are killers. These are people that are out to hurt our society. Therefore, we need to stand aligned with law enforcement.
Yeah, media, as you're pointing out, is a huge part of this problem.
We need a panacea to the problem, not a series of hyperbole.
All right, Dr. Porcher, great to have you with us.